Shalom. Just making a quick video here. I wanted to comment about how thick this whole asymptomatic thing is being laid out for us. I mean, they're laying it on real thick now. How you know they're laying it on real thick is by the fact that now they are making the statement that even if you don't have any symptoms, the virus could still be doing harm to you. Now, at first they were saying, oh, well, you're asymptomatic. You just don't have any symptoms, and that's that. You can still spread it to other people, which will still make a person be like, well, I don't care, I don't care if I can spread it to other people or not, as long as it's not doing anything to me. You're not going to touch me. You're not going to test me. You're not going to vaccinate me. So we're realizing that people were taking that narrative and that mindset. They decided to add another layer to it. So now they're saying that even though you have it and you don't have any symptoms, you're asymptomatic, the virus is still doing damage to you. The virus could still be doing damage to your lungs. The virus could still be doing damage to your heart. Now, see, you got to understand what they're trying to pull with this. They're trying to increase the sense of need, the imperativeness of it all, that everybody be tested whether or not they have symptoms, because they could have the virus, have no symptoms, but the virus could still be doing damage to their body. See, this is to create the need for the people who would normally be selfish about things. They're like saying, screw the world. Now this is to instill fear into people who feel perfectly fine. This is laying it on very thick. And at this point in time now, I am pretty much 99.9% sure that this whole viral thing is some kind of orchestrated event, and it could be real, or it might not even be real at all. I know that much. And I'm also pretty certain that what they're saying about the virus doing harm to your body, even though it's not causing you any symptoms, I'm pretty sure that's a load of shit right there. That's bullshit. I have no doubt about that, because when you come to understand an agenda, you have to consider what are the odds that everything would fall into place, allowing that person's agenda to be realized. You have to consider, if they want to vaccinate everyone, if they want to mandatory test everyone, if they want everyone to be down with that, if they want everyone to go flock into the clinics to be tested, if they wanted everyone to be lining up for a vaccine, then they would have to try to convince everyone, including people who are 100% healthy, that not only would it be in everyone around their general surroundings best interest, but in their own best interest to play along, to be tested, to be vaccinated. And the best way to do that is to convince those people that something could be going wrong in their bodies, even though there's no symptom of it. Now you have to consider, what are the odds that a supposed random event like this virus coming into our world, would provide people with everything that they need to promote mandatory vaccinations, mandatory testing, what are the odds of that? You know, I mean, that's like believing that nature itself wants to see these people succeed at their agendas. So it's just, it just gave them the virus, you know, and the virus does everything that they needed to do to promote all their mandatory initiatives. And believe me, yes, they are coming with mandatory testing. They keep ramping it up every single day. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more. They're adding more hot sauce to it. They are coming with mandatory testing. Do not think for one moment that we will not, within probably the next week or so, see pretty much everybody screaming for mandatory testing. And then eventually the government will oblige. That is coming. That is definitely coming. It might start off on a kind of a more of a state by state type thing, you know, where certain states will choose to do the mandatory testing. You know, it might start off like that, you know, but that's coming. That's definitely coming. They're definitely pushing for that. And they know that there's opposition to that. They know that there's opposition to it. So that's why they're pushing this notion that the virus can be in your body. You can have no symptoms whatsoever, but the virus can be in your body doing damage to your lungs and heart. That's why they're pushing that notion. This is all about setting the stage for mandatory testing, which will lead into mandatory vaccinations. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And because of how clear this pathway is, there's no doubt in my mind that this virus is completely manufactured. If the virus is real, this is the way I look at it. This is the way I look at it. As far as these individuals are concerned that are behind this, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. Because the way I look at it is this. If this virus is real, they made it. If the virus isn't real, then obviously they are creating all this propaganda. So either way, they're guilty. It doesn't really matter anymore in my mind whether or not the virus is real or not. It's real or not, because we know who is behind this. We know what they're pushing. They are telegraphing all their moves now because they are so desperate to make those moves. That's the situation that they're in. I mean, you can quite literally see in real time. This is also proof that they are watching the social media. They're watching social media. They're watching to see what people are saying. They're watching to see what people are opposed to. And they know people are opposed to the concept of everyone being tested because of the notion of asymptomatic patients. So here they came with this notion that, hey, you could have this disease and it could be doing harm to you. You could have this virus and it could be messing your body up. So that's to give you incentive. You know, just because you don't feel nothing doesn't mean that you ain't being damaged by it. That's to give you incentive to want to be tested, to want to be vaccinated, to want to see a vaccine produced, you know. So they're watching everything. This is probably the first time in history that we see one of these manufactured, orchestrated events going down in real time, and we are quite literally in a tug of war, if you will, with these people. They are watching the social media outlets. They're watching what people are posting and saying in the comment sections. They're getting a grasp of what people are believe is going on, and then they are coming up with countermeasures in real time within 24 hours. Boom. If you're watching the news every day, like I'm unfortunately am, you're seeing them deploy the countermeasures. You know? You're seeing them deploy those countermeasures in real time within 24-hour period. I start reading in the comment sections, people saying, "Oh man, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that, blah 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 blah." Boom. Next day or day after that, boom. Mainstream media deploying a countermeasure. So there's no doubt in my mind that this is all an orchestrated event. You know, there's a lot of other bits of evidence to prove that it's orchestrated. For what purpose is it being orchestrated? Well, my personal belief is that this is being used to hide the economic collapse. This pandemic is going to be used as the scapegoat for the economic collapse. That is my personal belief about it all. This is how they're collapsing the dollar, and this is how they're ultimately going to bring about a cashless society in all digital currency. That's my personal belief. This is a way for them to do all that without giving the public anybody to really point the finger of blame to. I mean, the only thing you'll be able to point the finger of blame at will be a non-existent virus. And I was just thinking about, when you consider how many people have died this year so far because of the basic seasonal flu, and when you consider how many cases in hospitalizations that the seasonal flu has caused just in this year alone, these last 4 months, it's like in the millions of hospitalizations, and then tens of thousands in terms of death. You know, and when you consider the flu, when you consider other things like pneumonia, how hard would it be for these people to just take a certain percentage of those flu deaths, a certain percentage of the people who are dying from the flu in the hospital setting, a certain people who are being admitted into the hospital because of the flu or pneumonia? How hard would it be for them to just sit up there and say, no, this is the flu, this isn't the pneumonia, this is the virus? How hard would it really be for them to do that? We know these people have their networks through all aspects of our life. They have their networks in the police. They have their networks in the medical industry. They have their networks everywhere. How hard would it be for these doctors, their networks of doctors, to just freaking lie about things? They don't even have to kill anyone. They don't even have to do anything like that. These people could be dying because of the seasonal flu, because of pneumonia and things like that. And all these people have to do is sit up there and erase flu off of the death certificate and put, COVID. That's all they have to do. They did nothing more but erase flu and put the C virus on there. They did nothing more but erase complications from pneumonia and instead put complications from the C virus. That's all they did. How hard would it be for them to do that? A very, very, very lightweight lie, if you will. Because when they look at it, hey, they didn't kill anyone. No one died. No one died by their hands. These people were already sick. The only thing that they did was change on the death certificate what killed them, and then racked it up. Added to the number. So I'm not saying that's exactly what's going on, but it could be a mixture of everything. It could be that they are doing things like that to pad the numbers, or it could be that all the numbers are a result of them doing stuff like that. And the reason why I say that is, again, when you look at how many people are hospitalized by seasonal flu and how many have been hospitalized so far in this year, and how many have died from the hospitalization so far in this year, I mean, it wouldn't be hard at all just to change, just to, erase one word and write down a different word. Wouldn't be hard at all. And I mean, you have people out there saying that people are taking this virus lightly. Well, my thing is this. If you look at the seasonal flu, the fact that we're not talking about how much damage it has done so far and how much damage it has seemed to always do each year. If we're taking COVID seriously, if we're taking this virus as big of a deal as we are, we should be taking the seasonal flu at least 3 times as big of a deal. We should be looking at the C virus as a shrub fire, while we should be looking at the flu as a raging forest fire. But that's not happening. The flu gets no press. The hospitalizations it causes gets no press. And its hospitalizations are in the millions already. Last year, it was like 50-something million hospitalizations. And around anywhere from 30 to 50-something thousand deaths. And that's just from the seasonal flu, and that's just from the United States alone. But we don't hear nothing about that. So the idea of taking the C virus lightly, like some people are criticizing people of, I would counter that and ask those people, how are they taking the flu? What do they think about the seasonal flu? And if they don't know a damn thing about the seasonal flu, then I would direct them to the CDC website that shows them the numbers. Then I'd ask them again, what do they think about the seasonal flu? Which one should be taken more seriously? Which one should a pandemic be declared over? Which one should an entire nation be ordered to quarantine itself over? That's what I would ask. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. How they're just turning up the heat on this whole idea that you can have this virus and it could be doing things to you even though you ain't feeling nothing from it. And how that is all designed to give you a reason, a life or death reason, to support the testing, the mandatory testing, and ultimately support the mandatory vaccination. That's what that is about. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Like I said, I do not believe in coincidences at all. And the idea that this virus would be doing everything that these people needed to do in order to justify all their agendas, that's not an idea I can swallow. Shalom.